Hi, this is Lawrence Sanek at Castle Dream Real Estate, and we are bringing you this episode of the Home Seller, Home Buyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us so you can learn about Home Buyer Episode 31, 10 Top Home Buyer Questions. The top 10 home buyer questions. Buying real estate is exciting and terrifying at the same time. There are many steps to the home buying process, and each step creates a new set of questions. Knowing the answers ahead of time can help relieve some of that stress that comes with buying real estate. Buying a home may seem intimidating, but a competent realtor will make it an easy process. They will walk you through each step of the process and make sure your experience is as smooth as possible. The number one question: what's the first step of home buying? The very, very, very first step and most important step is the mortgage pre-approval. Unless you are paying cash for a house, you will need to get a mortgage. In order to know how much home you can afford, you will need to get pre-approved for a loan. This is the first step in the home buying process, no matter what anybody else tells you. 2. How long does it take to buy a home? Normally around 30 days. The timeline for finding a house varies greatly from person to person. Once you find a house and have accepted an offer, it usually takes around 30 days to close. Depending on if the loan is by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, normally in the 30 to 45 day area. If it's a real estate owned property, sometimes up to 60 days. This does not include short sales. Short sales can take 2 to 7 months or longer. So if you need to be in a home in the next 30 to 60 days, forget about short sales. 3. What does a realtor do? Almost everything. A realtor is your best valuable asset when you buy a home. They will walk you through every part of the home buying process. They will educate and inform you of all your options. They will represent you throughout the transaction and beyond. There is a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. Many people do not know this. A realtor is regulated by the National Association of Realtors and subscribes to a strict code of ethics. A real estate agent does not. It is recommended that you work with a licensed realtor to avoid potential problems. 4. How much do you have to pay a realtor as a home buyer? Nothing. In most cases, you do not have to pay your realtor anything to help you purchase a home. The seller pays their realtor a fee, and then that listing agent pays the buyer's agent for bringing the buyer and facilitating the transaction. 5. What's your best advice for the first-time home buyer? Beware of advice from people who do not work in the industry. Real estate is a popular topic, and almost everyone feels like they have some great insight to the offer. In reality, the people who know best are the people that work in the business full-time and have sold hundreds of properties. We know what to expect and what to look out for. Friends and relatives, while they think they have your well-being in mind, have only bought or sold a few homes, if any at all. Buying and selling a couple of homes does not make someone a well-rounded source of information. I've seen too many first-time buyers become persuaded by well-meaning friends and family only to be disappointed later. Be confident in your decisions and trust the professionals you're working with. 6. What kind of credit score do you need to buy a home? The answer is normally 620 or better. A 620 credit score or higher is recommended. As you are probably aware, the higher the credit score, the better your lending terms are. This is an ever-evolving topic. However, as loan requirements are constantly changing, there are some lenders who will approve buyers with a 580 score, sometimes even lower. Your loan officer will be the best source to give you a current answer for today's lending requirements. 7. Are there special home buying programs that a buyer should know about? Yes. There are some great home buying programs to research. The main ones would be VA loans, USDA loans, and FHA loans. Knowing the difference between these loan types is very important. Other local options would include SHIP and some down payment assistance programs. A well-versed, competent realtor can guide you in this process, as well as the lender you're dealing with. 8. How much money do you need for a down payment? Well, that depends on your loan, usually 3 to 5% down. The most common answer is 3 to 5% of the purchase price. FHA loans just drop the requirements from 3.5% to 3%. There are also some conventional loans that only require 3% down. Veterans are usually eligible for a VA loan, which requires no money down. There are properties in rural areas that are usually eligible for a USDA loan, which also requires no money down. You also have to take into account that there are some closing costs that have to be covered, and sometimes they can be included in the closing. 9. What other fees are you responsible for besides the down payment? Mainly loan origination and closing costs. The down payment is usually the largest cost associated with purchasing a home. Lending fees are the second largest cost to home buyers. Most lenders will charge between 2 to 4% of the loan amount for loan origination fees, depending on the loan type. Conventional loans usually have lower loan or origination fees, but require more money down. Your loan officer will be able to help you determine how much you can expect to pay towards your loan origination and closing costs. 10. When do I get the keys? At closing. Under normal circumstances, you will get the keys at closing. A closing typically takes about an hour to 2 hours. In some cases, the lender will need time to fund the loan, and you will need to pick up the keys after the loan has been funded. For example, if you have a Friday evening closing and the loan cannot fund until Monday, you may not get the keys until Monday. Make sure to coordinate your closing to get the keys on the same day if at all possible. Thank you for listening to the Homebuyer Episode 31, the 10 Top Homebuyer Questions. We are grateful for the time you have taken to listen to this podcast, and we look forward to your input on what you would like to hear about in future podcasts. You can see our show notes at homesellerhomebuyer.com, and you can leave your comments, questions, and suggestions by using the Contact Us form on the right-hand side of the website, or email us at info@homesellerhomebuyer.com. Tell your family, friends, and coworkers about Home Seller Homebuyer Podcast. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to the Home Seller Homebuyer Podcast, and catch us on the next episode. Thank you for listening so you can stay informed.